Excellent. Welcome, everybody. So we've rebranded Lunchbox Learning to Speaker Series. Why? Because Speaker Series sounds a lot cooler than Lunchbox Learning. We thought we'd kick it off with some bookkeeping help. Of course, coming round into November, we could probably use some information. So I'm going to turn it over to Susan Watkin. Watkin Small Business Services, Inc. And Susan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tiffany. Appreciate being here.
If you have any questions, please comment in the comment section. We also have the Q&A section as well. I'm going to turn my camera off and mute myself while you're instructing us, Susan. And if anything pops up, I'll just jump in and ask you a question.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen for a little bit. I did up a few slides, but most of it's going to be me kind of talking. And as I was saying to Tiffany earlier, I much prefer more engaged being in front of people so you guys can ask questions. But this is the way we're doing this, and this is okay. So please, like Tiffany said, if you have a question, please put it in the chat or the Q&A, and then I can touch on it further. Because what I'm going to talk about today is about how, as businesses, when we've created a strategic plan for our companies, how we can and even should have our accounting professionals help us out to make sure that we are actually getting to where we want to be with this plan. Because it's kind of, when we spend all this time creating a strategic plan for a company, whether that's we're just starting out or whether we have a new type of launch, like we're launching a new product or a service or a program, then you've put all this money and this effort into doing this. So you want to make sure that you are meeting those goals that you set for yourself. So what I wanted to do was talk about a few things, how it's important, what we can do for what we do as accounting professionals, and how we can help you, and making sure that you're following kind of along with that and kind of keeping up to speed on what you've been spending your time creating. So I'm going to share my screen. And again, so anything, please just pop. I'm going to try to, once I share my screen, my Zoom looks a little bit different. And then here we go. So I'm going to make sure that I can see my chat. So in case anybody has a question, so they're up and ready to go. All right, fantastic. So yeah, so we're just going to talk about accounting support for your strategic plan today, but I'm happy to answer kind of any other accounting type question. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. My name is Susan Watkin. I am an accounting professional. I've been in the accounting industry for, oh gosh, now it's over 20 years. I've been doing I've done quite a lot, from controller roles to financial analysis roles, and having my own practice. I work primarily in accounting education right now. I do a lot of teaching. I do a lot of work with Intuit Canada and their QuickBooks related programs. I'm fortunate enough to do a lot of financial management consulting with some of our nonprofit organizations that are government funded programs, like the Northumberland CFDC, economic development stuff, working with a lot of startups. I love it. And I created a program myself recently, which is going well, we're enjoying, which is really to help increase the value and finding the right bookkeepers for our businesses out there to make sure you're getting the best for what you need. So my information's up there. Feel free to connect with me. And if you have any questions about me later on, or any questions about this later on, you're welcome to connect with me on social, and we can talk there too. So let's get going into the exciting world of strategics and financials. So like I had said, this is, when we're looking at our strategic plan, this is something that you are spending significant time usually creating. And like I said, it's often when you're starting a business, you're creating a new program. Markets are changing, so that's a big thing. So sometimes we create these plans because we want to see where we're going to go. So it's where you are today and where you want to go. Now, if you are not 100% sure what a strategic plan is, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just understand that it is not a business plan. It's something different. Okay. So we're looking at our business in kind of in this whole view of where do we want to be? And then what we do is we define our goals and we break those down, and we can have short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. But then the whole process with this, our plan, is now we have to take all those goals and we have to figure out, how are we going to put them into action? So we create action plans and we prioritize these goals, and we have to set deadlines for these goals, and then we monitor it. So this is kind of, this is a very high level view of what a strategic plan is. Okay, so, and as I've said, you've spent time creating this plan for whatever your reason is. You've got, your goals that you have in mind for your organization. So, but a big part you have to remember with creating a strategic plan like this is the communication part. And in this little webinar, what I'm talking about is specifically communicating with your team so everyone is on the same page. And that part of that team is your accounting professional, because these people are going to help you. So that's kind of our goal with you, right? Is to make sure that that we can help you reach those goals. At least I know that's the way it is for myself. So whoever you're working with on your day-to-day accounting, they need to understand, what your goals are. You want to have them help you on the financial side of following it along appropriately, right? So you need to be very clear with them, make sure they're involved so that they understand what you're trying to achieve, so they can do things with you and for you, so that you can make sure that all of those plans that you've put in place, that you can achieve them, or you can understand where they're going to require some changes, revisions, even a pivot, when there's a significant change externally. Let's, if we think about the COVID-19 and what happened this year, for example, right? So there's some serious strategic plan changing that happened this year with a lot of businesses we saw. So, and for me, one of the things with working with your accounting professional on this is that nobody wants to find out what they should have done. We want to understand as we're going along what we should be doing and how we're doing, right? So when you have your accounting partner along the way, they're going to help keep you better aligned to achieve those goals that you've set, right, for your business. Okay, so just again, so this is kind of like a high view of what a strategic plan is. If you weren't 100% sure, no worries. And then this is where we're going to start bringing our accounting professional into it. Okay. So, well, when we create a strategic plan, the second step is now we have to figure out, how are we going to fund this? Like, where is this money coming from? How are we going to manage this? Okay, so we need to have a financial plan in place that's going to help us work through these goals. Okay, so you create this plan, setting the financial plan to align with it. It's where you want to be, working with your accounting professional 100%. So if it was, for me, for example, I want to be working with my clients here from the beginning. Like, I want to be understanding your strategic plan, from as soon as it's an inception in your mind, right? So I can work with you to say, to help you put some numbers behind those goals and those timelines and those priorities. So you want to look at all of those items that are in your strategic plan. You want to explain what you want, and then they're going to help you monitor and review all the financial aspects of each objective, right? So if we look at I'll go through these things that are on the screen here, but for example, I'm going to give you an example here. If you need to hire people, so one of your strategic plans is requiring you to grow, or you're changing or opening a second location or something, or even expand your location. These are things that, you're going to need money for this. So who better to help you? You need that accounting professional that you're working with. You want to talk to this person because they know what the money situation is going on in your business. And that's not to say that you don't, okay? That's not to say that you don't. But what it is that this is somebody that's looking at it not from terms of, this is my business, I'm invested, it's everything. They're looking at it strictly from the financial side. Is how do we achieve these goals for you? How do we make these things happen? And in this case, it comes down to money. How will all these outlays to achieve these goals impact your business as it operates right now, right? So, what are the tax implications of any major purchases. So if you decide, I'm going to be expanding, I'm adding a new product, which means I need to add a whole bunch of new machinery. What does that mean? Can I write that off? How much is it going to cost me? How am I going to pay for it? And this is where, as accounting professionals, we can come and we can be there. We can be that guiding hand for you to help you, determine, what the best way to deal with this and how to manage that money and how it gets, handled in your record keeping, right? So, and when you set these goals, the strategic goals for yourself, you're prioritizing them, which you need to let us know, because then we can help manage, where the money goes to achieve them in the timelines that you want to set. So, you're setting these timelines, you're setting these creating these action plans, and what kind of cost at what point in your plan, are we going to be experiencing? What's it going to cost us to put your plan into motion? Are there various stages, right? So one of the things that we look at, when we're looking up here, we've got budgeting. Okay, so these stages that we're talking about are going to help you budget for part of your plan, and it's going to also help your cash flow. So working with your accounting professional, you're going to create that financial timeline and a budget for each part of the plan. It's usually a good idea to do that. And what this is going to do, it's going to help you manage those expenditures, set the financial guides for you on that particular project, for example. It'll help you monitor for overruns. It will help you get ahead of any problems before they become too difficult to fix, right? So this is where you want to have that relationship with your accounting professional, because you want them monitoring and supporting you, helping you catch these overruns when they're overrunning, not at the end of the year, because we don't want to find out at tax time that things didn't work out for us. We want to be understanding it throughout. Okay, financial projecting. When I'm talking about financial projecting, what this does is it's allowing you to work through, the anticipated sales and expenditures. We're talking about things like seasonality in your business, when you make money, when these sales convert to cash, when are you going to, expect to be paid, for example, helping you remember things that are cash expenditures to you, but aren't necessarily expenses, like things that get forgotten in the cash, which is our sales tax payments, debt repayment. Okay, so these get often forgotten about, which can make your cash flow tight. So this is where, as a professional, as an accounting professional, we're here for you to help you do this, right? So we want to be watching this. We understand this. We're going to be doing some projecting. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit more coming up. So next is that we want to be managing our cash flow. So cash flow, we all know cash is king. This will make or break your business, right? So if you've made this decision to create, either your strategic plan is, starting your company right from the beginning, or making a major pivot, your cash flow is the thing that's going to make sure that you can keep going, that you can stay operational, no matter, and deal with things. So managing cash flow is so essential. And it's one of those things where, we might need to be securing financing. We need to be staying ahead of our receivables. Do we have to cut back on expenses or stretch out debt repayment, right? This is somewhere where you can use your accounting professional, whether it's a bookkeeper or an accountant, to help you keep on top of this, because this is what they do, is they're working with the numbers. You make the decision on where you want your business to go, and then together you're going to find this right flow, and you're going to work with each other to make sure things are kind of keeping on track. And the thing we have to remember, that this isn't when it comes to this financial planning and the cash flow, this isn't a set and forget it type of situation. This is something that needs to be reviewed often, especially if cash flow is tight. So this is something that you want to make sure that somebody is, either you or somebody is watching out for it, to make sure that you're not going to get caught unaware when there's all of a sudden a cash crunch. Okay. And then of course, we want to be monitoring and reviewing how the business is doing in relation to the plan, and then adjust it if necessary. You're going to spot the issues faster if you're monitoring for it. So when you have somebody working with you that's helped create this financial plan against your strategic plan, they're watching for you, very much so. Now, one of the things that is really essential, that I thought about, and I'm like, well, wait a second, yeah, this is all great and stuff, looking at the numbers and managing and monitoring. And then I'm just like, well, wait a second, we got to figure out this record keeping first. So I thought, I can't talk to you guys without saying some of this stuff about record keeping. So this is your bookkeeping, your data entry, your day-to-day processes. So when we can to figure out specifically what your accounting professional can do for you, and I use the term accounting professional because there are so many different levels of accounting professional out there. We have CFOs, we have part-time CFOs, we have accountants, certified accountants, tax preparers, bookkeepers. So you can be working with any number of them. You could be working with many different ones at one time, depending specifically on what you need for your company, because one particular person might not be able to give you everything that you require to get the information that you need. So that aside, before we get into even looking at our financials, even talking about this analysis, we have to touch on what lays the groundwork for us, and that is the bookkeeping. That is the record keeping. So we can't forget that we get all the information to make these decisions. So when I keep talking about monitoring and reviewing and adjusting and stuff, well, what am I monitoring? What am I reviewing? What am I adjusting? Well, we can't get any of that information out without the bookkeeping being done first, right? So that's kind of a really important point. And that means you have to be on top of the bookkeeping, or you have to have a bookkeeper that's on top of it. Okay, so the thing is with accounting, and I'm sure in so many other industries, of course, but I'm just going to use it from the accounting and finance area, is that adage of garbage in, garbage out is really very true. So if what's going into your accounting records isn't good, what's coming out is not going to be helpful either, right? So the accounting professional, where they help you here is, you can have this person doing this bookkeeping and the advising and forecasting, but they can only do so based on what's in the accounting records. So if those accounting records are incomplete, or if they're poorly maintained, then the data that comes out of them is going to be incomplete and likely very unhelpful. It might be misdirecting and misinforming for you on the status of some of the programs or projects that you have going on within your business. Okay. So first and foremost, you have to make sure that that you are the person that is doing this for you. And I'm talking specifically about the day-to-day accounting, the day-to-day bookkeeping. So however you are getting your information into some type of record keeping accounting software, whether you're using Excel or an accounting software like QuickBooks. So whoever's doing this work and getting this information in there has to have a clear understanding of the importance of what it is that they are doing, okay, when it comes to recording your business transactions, and the accuracy, attention to detail. It's really paramount, and it's not just, I think sometimes a lot of us get lost in the compliance, and we think that, okay, I have to do this, I have to pay taxes, I have to track my records because I have to pay the government. But it's not just about a compliance. You can't grow your business on incorrect information. Okay, so our records that we are keeping for our companies is not just about paying tax, and yeah, of course, that's what the government, that's the government thinks that, but it's also about recording how your business is going and being able to extrapolate the data to make sure that you're being profitable in the way you want to be profitable, you are reaching the goals you want to be reaching. So and then on an aside, before I go into it, and this is I'm very passionate about this, about making sure, and this is why I started my program, is making sure people are finding the right people to help them. And like I said, you have a lot of different options out there. So don't feel like you have to stick with one type of professional. You want to find you want to find the person that's going to help you in various ways. It might not be one person, right? So when you're considering this professional, don't think just about the day-to-day or the compliance. Consider the other things that you want help with, like your financial planning. If you want somebody to work with you with your strategic planning, you want somebody who's really versed in cash flow management, and that type of thing. It might, like I said, it might end up being more than one person. You might not necessarily find a bookkeeper that has all of this experience that you're looking for. They might not be at that level. And it might not be a year-end tax accountant, because perhaps they're only looking at your work once per year. So you might have to find a balance of multiple people. But the point is that there are accounting people out there that are here to help you to make sure that you are getting through this. So for you, it's key to make sure that the work that's being done for you, and so that we can get this information, is timely and that it's accurate. You want to make sure your information is the most up-to-date as possibly it can be. And that your record keeping is set up the way it should be. Is the digital accounting program that you're using set up correctly in terms of, the ledger accounts and the, capital assets and things like this? Is this being tracked properly? Because we want to be able to pull out from this software the data the way we want to read it. So we want to make sure whoever's putting the information in there is putting it in there appropriately, right? So these are just things to consider when you're working with somebody, that it's like, okay, I have this plan, I have goals, I have a business and I want to take it. It's just like you would find the right, manufacturer for your product, you'd find the right designer for your product. It's the same with your accounting professional. You want to find the right person or persons that are going to align with your goals and understand your mission, so that they can work with you to make sure to help you be successful as possible in this. Okay. So once we know that the numbers in our records are the best that we can have, we trust our person that's doing them. Now we can use them. Your accounting professional is going to use them, and it's going to get a ton of really great information out there. Okay. Forecasting, as I mentioned a couple of slides earlier, is so important, is specifically with respect to your cash flow, and to make sure that you're on target for those action plans, right? So one of the things I look at is that, depending on the deadlines of the plans, will there be cash available? Is money coming in? What is going on 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road for your normal operations of your business, or now then for your new plan? If you want to have somebody that can help you plan for those sales and those cost outlays. So projections is something that I personally feel that more professionals need to do with our clients. I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of businesses over the years, and the number one complaint, and perhaps some of you that are participating, you might mirror this complaint, but the number one complaint I hear is that they feel their support is kind of in the middle, where they might have a bookkeeper or somebody they know doing the record keeping that handles the day-to-day, and then they have the year-end tax accountant that handles year-end, but there's not really somebody kind of in the middle that's talking to them on a regular basis, that's getting them through getting them through the year on understanding what the numbers mean. I've seen more and more of my colleagues happily that are starting to offer these advisory services in addition to their bookkeeping, which is great. But for yourself as business owners, you want to understand what the numbers are actually telling you. So like I said, so you can determine whether you're staying in line with these goals. And this is what, finding that person that can work with you throughout the year will help you do. Okay. You want to ask for that support as business owners. You want to ask for the support from the person that you've hired. You want to set those expectations with that professional so you can get the information that you need to be successful. Okay. So this is where it comes back to what I mentioned at the beginning, is the communication part. Your accounting professional is there for you. They're working for you in your company. So whether, so your strategic plan for your company and your goals in general for your company, this is something you want to make sure you're communicating with them. So you both are working at the same, with the same plan in mind, right? if you don't have a plan, if you don't have any goals and you're just, working your business and all you need from your bookkeeper is your day-to-day, okay. But most of us have a plan. We have a goal. Maybe it's, we have something that, we want to reach a certain sales figures. We want to, like I said, get a new launch a new product or a program. So this is stuff, again, the communication so that they understand what is going on. So when, when we are working as accounting professionals with you, we're looking at things like our financial projections and our budgets. It's helping you to understand where your costs are occurring, and you can see that once you have your records up to date, you can see your cost outlays, you can see when your money is coming in, but an extra step for that is when we can help you project, as I said, 3, 6, 12 months into the future, watching the seasonality of your business, seeing, okay, well, this is where you're earning a lot, or this is when it's your slow period. And then we can look at how the business operates and how the money and the earnings and the outlays, how they ebb and flow throughout the year to help you plan for some of those larger projects, perhaps. We can then be looking at these numbers and say, look, like you're quite often, this is a very low season for you. This is not the time financially to do X, Y, and Z. Or, we can help you make a plan for saving to do it in a season that is low for you, because now you have the actual physical time to complete a project. So these are the things that, we want to be looking at. Where, do we have periods of, high and low that are dramatic, or are we kind of even keel throughout the year? We want to make sure that that we're planning for the costs to meet the demands of, selling our product, to meet the demands of the plan itself, so you have specific timelines or specific budgets for those plans. You want to make sure that the money coming in is going to be able to not only manage for your day-to-day operations that you're already operating, but also to hit those strategic plans, those action plans that you've put in place, the specific objectives that you're trying to reach. So this is where, when we're looking at the financials and we're projecting into the future, we have to assess all of these things. We have to look at all of these potential things that are coming up and how this is going to work for you. When we expect actual cash, expect this revenue to turn into physical cash throughout, the 3, 6, 9 months, so, or it's going to also help us determine, do we require financing at specific periods, because the cash is not going to be enough that's coming in through your typical sales on a day-to-day basis, right? Okay, so we want to look at when do you really get paid, and how far can you stretch your vendors, for example, is a good example of that. So, and then with budgeting, why project budgeting is really important. Why it's important is because, again, it's part of the plan, and you want to have something in place to kind of help you stay on track. It's like anything that we do, if we have a budget at our home, from month to month, to make sure we are meeting all of our financial obligations for having our home and paying for our food and our groceries and our activities. It's the same thing in your business. So creating a budget specific to one of the projects you've created, one of your action plans, one of your objectives, is it's going to help you monitor the I'll say success of that goal, success of you reaching that goal, but really just how things are going forward for you in terms of that particular goal, right? So setting a specific budget is going to help you keep in line. Your accounting professional yourself is going to want to be monitoring this, and which is, as I mentioned before, I mentioned in the past slide, it helps you manage those expenditures. You're going to set those guides for you with the budgeting, and then your accounting professional, if they're working with you on this and they understand the goal, and they've got your basic business they want to go, and now you've got your project that you're dealing with, they're going to help you. This is a resource for you. These are somebody that understands what the numbers are saying, and they're going to be able to come to you and say, okay, we need to stop this or look at this because we have major runs over here, or we're under budget, but we're projecting higher expenditures next period, so our budget overall is still continuing on in the direction in which we want it to go, right? So this is where this professional is going to come in and help you, because that's what we do. We're numbers people. We love the numbers. So we want to work with what you have outlined, where you want to be, because then that helps us look at the numbers and say, are we still on target? Or we need to have a conversation and we need to make a change somewhere because something has happened. Okay. And we want to be doing this throughout the year. This is not something you want to be doing at the end of the year. It's not helpful to be doing this at the end of the year. This is something that needs to be done throughout the year. And then when we look at our monitoring of our cash flow, we all know this. I mentioned it briefly in the other slide that, you know, it's part of the forecasting process. It's part of financial planning. It's all connected, you know. So the financial the projections allow you to do your forecasting, but then the cash flow comes into it because now we're seeing, when are we anticipating to have cash coming in? Oh, that's great that we're expecting the sales on this project or whatever it is to hit X, Y, and Z. But when are we anticipating these sales conversions to cash? Right? So this is where we want to look at things like our receivables, what's our history with these customers, how can we ensure that these customers are paying us, because we want to make sure the money is coming in to make sure that it can fund the projects, it can fund the business. And then if we don't plan in advance through our projections, if we're not planning in advance, we're going to get hit with a snag. And that's when we get the so-called cash flow crunch, right? Because now we're all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I have to make my GST, HST payment. I have no money. Now we're in a crunch. I have to pay I took out financing for this project. I now have debt repayment. I can't meet my obligations in my debt repayment, because if we're not looking at this, if we're not managing the cash flow, which is outside of what our record keeping is telling us to a point, if we're not monitoring that with our financial projections, with our accounting records, then yeah, we're going to get bit. And this is where, as an accounting professional, we're here to help you manage this. So this is something that, you know, you set your expectations with them and you talk to them, and they're going to be watching this for you because they are part of the school with you and they understand where you're trying to go. So they could preemptively help you decide, okay, we need to stay ahead of these receivables. That means we have to do some collections work. We have to secure some financing. You know, they're going to be the ones, you might not like to hear it, but we're the ones that are going to say, okay, you need to stop spending on X, Y, and Z. So, but this is for your betterment. This is for you to reach the goals. You know, we're not trying to be, we're not trying to be a pain, but it's sometimes we have to say, curb the spending. You know, maybe we have to delay a particular project because of a change. You know, there's been a disruption now, and these people can help you as accounting professionals. We can help you, deal with these disruptions. For example, as a result, think of any political change that disrupts how we work and how we can earn our money, or in this case of 2020, COVID-19, how has this disrupted us, and how has this disrupted our plans and made us pivot our strategic plans, which is, now created this situation financially that we have to figure out, how do we deal with this? How do we keep operating? Can we continue to reach our goals? And this is where you want to be working with your accounting professional to help you kind of stay on target or figure out how you are going to pivot and make those changes. So if we speak specifically of a financial disruption, and, as I said, this is where with having the accounting professional working with you on your plan, working with you in your business in general, this is where they're monitoring to proactively deal with this change before it becomes detrimental to your business. So this is somebody that is along with yourself. This doesn't mean I'm going to kind of put this in here. Having a accounting professional does not mean you stop paying attention. No, this is your company. You really need to be aware of everything going on. This is your partner in in the financial side of the business. This is somebody that is working alongside you, okay, not outside of you, not on their own. You want to make sure that you know what this person is doing, that you have that communication, you understand, because they are working for you and for your business, okay? This person, this accounting professional is, they're aware of your finances. Perhaps they're managing a lot of the processes. Maybe they're doing some of your banking and your bill payment, your day-to-day accounting. So they're going to see the disruption. And this is what I know I saw quite a bit, obviously, in the last 6-7 months, when a lot of change happened with our businesses due to the COVID shutdowns and things. Like, it doesn't change your goals. Okay. It just might change the timelines. It doesn't mean you have to stop having the plan that you had in place, but it does need to be reevaluated. And the timelines may change significantly depending on that external impact to your company. So if we're looking at this, like I said, this is one of those situations why we need somebody monitoring it, because we want to make sure we're catching and we can veer, we can pivot, we can change. Pivot's a word that's commonly used quite a bit, but it is the best word. That all of a sudden you can say, whoa, okay, this is gonna hurt me now. Let's stop, evaluate, and let's just kind of veer it off for next year. You start assessing that the cash flow, can it tide you over to ride out this wave, whatever it is that's impacting you. Obviously, the best example is, the disruption of COVID-19 to our businesses, but it's not the only time that we have disruption. And I am very certain in saying it will not be the last time there will be some type of financial disruption to your business. Anytime there is a change, whether it can be environmental, it can be political, it could be health, like it was this year. Something could happen to you. It might not affect somebody else, but it could happen to you. For example, if you work specifically with government agencies, perhaps a change in our local, our municipal, our provincial, or our federal government is going to really impact how you earn. Well, that's a political disruption. That is a financial disruption to you that might not affect somebody like myself or someone else. So you have to be prepared that can what we've done, what our goals are, can we change them? Can we delay some of our major projects to a different timeline because the cash flow is not going to allow us to do this? And this is where, you're working alongside, and this is the question you should be asking your professional. You can say, wait a second, okay, this is gone nightmarish right now. I can see a problem coming up. My contracts are being canceled. Stop. What do we do? Talk to them and say to them, like, where's our money? How much money am I going to have? If I made no money coming in for the next 3 months, could my business survive? And this is something that, with your accurate accounting records, the professional that's working with you, accounting professional that's working with you, they're going to be able to look at it and tell you and say, this is what we have to do. Yes, no, we can go. If things stay like this, if we do this, then maybe we'll get through. Or if we make this change, it'll be better for us. So this is a person that is, we're here to help you, in helping you make these decisions, because most of the time, I'm going to say all the time, when it's somebody that's not an accounting professional and you're hiring us to work with you, the reason being is this isn't your expertise. You're an expert in something else. So you want this person to kind of, walk alongside you and support you, right? So, all of this needs to be figured out before you make decisions, right? So before you're make any changes, what should you consider to adjust? Delays, are there going to be delays in people paying you? What's going to happen to the money coming in? Are you able to get financing? Because a lot of other businesses might be getting financing. Can we close that gap and get your finished professional helping you figure out what kind of financing is the best thing for you, and how is that going to affect your bottom line, not just your cash flow, but how is that going to affect the overall financials of your business? Can we stretch paying others, right? So if the strategy changes, we have to think, if we're diverting, if we're going to divert some of our plans, if you've decided and you come to, and you're saying, okay, I can't do this year, Susan, because of this financial, or I'm going to tell you whether or not I don't think it's a good idea, but if you decide to proceed, Okay, these are things that could be impacted by this financial disruption, and that's when we're talking about our goals, our timelines, our costs, our projections. So we do have to reevaluate. This is why we keep talking about how, this accounting professional is there for you to monitor, to help you manage, to help you review, and sometimes reset, right? So it's not static. It's not something, like I said, there's no set and forget here. We have to be constantly watching, because there's so many factors that are external to our own business operations that could impact what we're doing and impact our plans. We might not like it, but life happens, right? So, and it could be even something personal that impacts it. So how can we do this? Do we have to can we make changes in our debt repayment? Do we stop that expansion that we had planned on? Do we change how we bill our clients, right? And this is a big one, a pricing strategy change. And this is something that you want to talk to your accounting professional about, because they might help you assess, how can we change the pricing? Does market allow for increases, or could we perhaps just change how people are paying us so that we could ensure consistent cash flow, like fixed billing, memberships, type of, for certain industries, these are things that are happening right now. So it's a consistent cash flow, that helps us maintain what we need to do, even just for operating our company, right? So let alone meeting our strategic goals. So what we have to do, all in part of this is our reevaluating, this is our reworking, and this is where, as an account professional, I can speak for myself and many of my colleagues, we love working with you people on this. We love working with small businesses or medium-sized, large businesses, what have you. This is what we've trained to do, and we enjoy trying to solve that numbers problem for you. And and it might not be our companies, but we, as your colleagues and as people that you have come in, you've brought us in to the fold, we're invested in this with you. I know I look at this and the businesses I work with, I'm invested in what the plans that they've put in place. I've helped them build these plans, and I want to see it come to fruition. The last thing I want to do is see somebody fail because they failed to plan. And that would make me sad. And it does make me sad when I see that with some businesses, because they're not getting the support that they could have to do this. So the whole purpose of, what I'm telling you is that if you have somebody, an accounting professional, talk to them about this, make sure, get them involved in your planning and get them involved in your goals, right? So when we're looking at the reevaluating, it's again, like I talked about, we're talking about pricing. I'm going to talk to you about pricing. I'm going to say, okay, look, can we increase? What does your market allow for? Now that comes back to you as the expert of what you're selling in your marketplace. So you're going to be able to tell me that. So together we are making some changes. Can we increase our profit margins, right? To increase our cash flow. Right? How do we increase our profit margins? Well, we got to either make more money or we got to spend less money. And those ones are that was a really simple one, right? Can we do this? What can we do? How do we increase our sales? Maybe one of our objectives, one of our goals was putting out a new product or program, that this change that has come in, actually now is a good time, because maybe we'll likely make money on that one, not so much our current business, our product that we're doing right now, right? So you might actually want to push a product through in a time of change, because it might be a better product that people are needing at this time, right? So we want to make sure, like, if you lose a pivotal product, for example, a pivotal service that you're doing, how does that affect your bottom line? Can you survive without it? And that's something we can tell you, because when we're looking at our projections, we're looking at historical, we're seeing how the sales are going on this. So with that accurate bookkeeping, number one, accurate bookkeeping, that we're able to tell you, you know what? I think you could manage this for a little bit. I think you can, we can push this forward, and we're going to be okay. It's going to be tight. It's going to be painful but I think if we make a few of these adjustments, X, Y, and Z, then you could potentially do this. And there's this conversation that we're going to have to make sure that you are very clear of what's going on with your financials. You're very aware of the impact that we're seeing. That you should understand what is going on in your business. You might not understand what the minutia means with every on every part of your financial statements, but that's what the accounting professional is there for, is to answer those questions for you, is to help you understand what the impact is on your financials when you take out a large loan, when you buy a capital asset. When I say capital asset, I mean like a big piece of equipment, you know, a property, a building for your business, right? So talk to these people. I can't stress that enough. You know, and they can help you determine, you know, these needs, or how we can change and impact the profit margins, you know, and to, you know, one of the things that, you know, is determining what can stay and what has to go, right, when times change, or if you want to focus more on your new goal, right? So it's like, okay, you're not making money. Let's take the focus or the money that we were putting into this particular part of your business, and let's put it into now this new plan, and we can see how that goes. And we can do this with some financial evaluations. We can be, you know, again, with the projecting and then monitoring that over a course of time for you. So the last thing I want to kind of talk about, is engaging this accounting professional. And I know sometimes I've experienced it with people that have come to me, sometimes there's a comfort level, I'm going to say not void, but a barrier in terms of comfort, because if a business owner, if it's not your expertise and you're not comfortable with how the finances work, there's a discomfort when working with an accounting professional, because you might be thinking, well, they know and they're going to tell me when something's wrong, or I don't understand what they're doing, so I'm not going to pay attention to what they're doing. And you shouldn't do that. Okay. Remember, this is your company, and this person needs to explain things to you. And this is again, I can't say it enough. The communication is making sure, you know, that you understand how they can help you. They're explaining how they can help you. And this is somebody that you can ask for that support and for that guidance. The reality is if they can't do it, or if they won't do it, which is worse, if they won't do it, it might be time for you to find somebody else who will and who can. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Your number one focus is your success of your business, and you need to find the professionals to support you. There's a lot, as I said, a lot of types of different accounting professionals, and they can help you in various parts of the development, the growth, the expansion of your business. You just have to find the right one. So, and you need to set the expectations for what you want. You know, not all professionals, and I know specifically a lot of bookkeepers, they might not necessarily come and say to you, this is what you need, because if they're thinking their responsibility is merely your day-to-day, you need to be telling them, no, I expect this of you. And again, finding the person that's going to work with you, right? So there's many types, and some might not understand the process. They might not feel comfortable even with working with you in terms of financial projections, in terms of future planning and budgeting. So that just tells you that, okay, this person might be great and I adore them, but they're not good for me for that part of my business. So either they do day-to-day, or you find somebody else that can, right? So this is somebody that you need to be able to sit down, discuss your strategic plan with in full. We have to understand what you want. What's your goals, your timelines, your expectations, right? You want to work with us. We want to work with you to create budgets for these plans, you know, for those specific timelines, right? How are we going to get the money? We're going to be working on the expectations and the projections to see how you can achieve this. And is this timeline that you've set appropriate for you? We're going to monitor that cash flow for you, and we're going to talk to you. We're going to say, this is where it's going. We're going off the rails. Come on back. We have to deal with this, right? And again, setting goals for profitability and monitoring with them, right? So there's a lot your accounting professional can do for you, or your accounting professionals can do for you. Like I said, if you have multiples, you just need to make sure that you're clear on what you want in your business and find somebody that's going to be working with you alongside. So I do see that there is a question. I'm just going to pop up here, oops, and answer that. Okay. So Oh, okay. So it's probably you, Tiffany. You'll probably ask what's my preferred accounting software. I'm biased. I'll tell you right now. I'm not. I'm pretty software agnostic. I can use all of them for my clients. But when it comes to my favorite, I do use QuickBooks. I've worked with Intuit Canada for many, many years. I do a lot of writing and training for them specifically on their products. And I actually just finished writing a textbook for QuickBooks Online Comprehensive for Canadian universities and colleges. So I like that product. So, and I find it is an excellent product for most businesses. So I do recommend it with clients that, but for me, if a client makes a preference of one of their softwares as an accounting professional, as long as I can get information out of it, that's good. But if somebody was to come to me, I'm actually I'm just share my screen here for a sec, so I can. That's just my face. If somebody's going to come to me, then that's the software that I would prefer to put them on. And then I see Nicole has asked a question here. A home-based business to record my gas receipts. How do I do that when it's, oh yeah, okay. So no, you don't actually record that in your accounting software because you're a sole proprietorship. Your expenses that are personal, that are not the business, which is gas, because it's your personal vehicle. This is something you actually collect and wait until tax time. So there's a part on your statement of business activities at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes where you put in your kilometers and then all of the expenses associated with with your travel, with your vehicle, all of that. And so, yeah, you do have to wait. You do wait because that's not technically a business expense because it's a personal vehicle that you are using. And then you ask the same question, home expenses. Again, that's all at tax time. None of that goes into your accounting records because it's not a true business expense. What it is the government is allowing us to make a deduction from your income for the business use of home. Okay, so all of that you're going to want to save up. I always recommend to people that are sole proprietors and that just have a spreadsheet. I have one where you're tracking your mileage and then keep track of all of your receipts for your vehicle. One where you're tracking all of your business use of home expenses. So then that way you're ready at tax time. You provide that to your tax preparer, or you can do it yourself because it's all on it's called the T2125, the Statement of Business Activities. And then you're going to input all of that information as you've tracked, but that's not coming from your business records. Your accounting records are your business revenue and your business expenses. Okay. And hiring a bookkeeper. Wow, yeah, I could definitely give you tips on that. That is 100% why I created my program called Find Our Bookkeeper, because it is one of the hardest things. And I can even say that as an accounting professional with a firm, it is one of the hardest things to do is to find the right bookkeeper. And what you need to make sure is the person is, like I said, understands your business, understands what you're doing, and has the skills to do what you need them to do. So you have to have a good understanding of what your business requires, what kind of information you want out of your business, and then you're going to want to make sure that person is well vetted and tested. Like any industry, we have good and bad with accountants and bookkeepers, financial analysts, anything. So you need to make sure that you're looking at credentials, but you're looking at experience, you're looking at the fundamentals. And that's where you want to watch out, because there are a lot of people out there that have decided to become bookkeepers, especially over the pandemic. And a lot of them are doing it without education and without experience. So when you're hiring a bookkeeper, you want to make sure they actually do understand the fundamentals of accounting. That's a huge, huge one. No problem. So, so Tiffany, you're saying it's a good idea to include your bookkeeper in yes, 100%. Whoever you have that you're working with, whether it's a CFO or an accountant, a tax accountant, even get them involved, because this is somebody who, if you're going to have somebody working with you throughout the year, this is a person that needs to understand what your plan is. So you have to walk them through it, because they're going to be like, they know your numbers. It's very it's a very intimate thing. And I've had people come that to me that they've been embarrassed to come and ask for help because they felt it was such an intimate thing talking about your finances. And it's like, it is, but we need to understand what you want so we can help you get to that goal. So whatever accounting professional you have, they should understand it, and you communicate with them, and you tell them, like, this is what I need to know. This is what's important to me. And they're going to either work with you, or or they're not. And if they're not going to work with you and it's not a concern, then that's the time where you go, this is not maybe the person for me, because I want the support. So I know I'm not going off the rails. I know I'm making money and I can do this, right? So that's our purpose as accounting professionals, depending on where we've decided to practice, whether it's in bookkeeping, financial analysis, CFO services, or tax accounting. Find the right person that understands what you're doing and understands the industry you're in. That's a big one too, because not all industries are treated equal, right? So there's a lot of differences. So not every bookkeeper is equal, neither is every accountant. So you want to make sure that that they understand what you need and the type of business that you have to help you get that right person, and making sure they can do what they say they can do. So that's a tough one, and which is why, like I said, and Tiffany knows, I've talked about it before, why we started the program, because it is really hard. It's really hard. So we, like for us, like we go through extreme vetting processes and testing. So and if you're unsure, get some help, talk to somebody to help you find the right person. Because there's a lot of companies that, a lot of people that will happily tell you if they know what they're doing, including us. But yeah, a little bit of a sneaking that in there, Tiffany, right? But no, definitely ask. Don't be afraid to ask. This is your business. You want the best help for the money you're going to pay.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Susan.
You're
so knowledgeable.
Oh, thank you.
You've written textbooks, so you blow me away.
Yeah.
If we're looking for a bookkeeper, you mentioned it. So if we're looking for a bookkeeper, if we have a friend that's looking for a good bookkeeper, how can we connect with you?
For our bookkeeping program, it's really easy. Find our bookkeeper.ca and have a look, and yeah, you can reach out to me, and I am a chamber member, so you're happy to connect with me that way, or you can connect with me through that website as well if you're looking for a bookkeeper, and or even if you're not, if you just want some help and some direction on where to go, yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help.
Awesome. So if you're looking to connect with Susan, if you want her contact info, reach out to me. I can send a nice warm fuzzy email connecting the two of you. I'm so grateful for your time today, Susan. Thank you so much. We did record today's session, so we will put that up on LinkedIn, so that way it can get more play if you want to watch it back, just to kind of recoup what Susan had gone through. Super grateful for your time. Before I let you all go today, because we've got 2 minutes, I'm just going to run through a couple chamber news things. That way you can mark your calendars, get some information together. Chamber AM is happening the second Tuesday of December. We had to reschedule our November Chamber AM speaker, Carissa McIntyre, who's a local author publisher. So join us for that. PBX is happening the first Tuesday of December. It's actually December 1st. It's going to be fun. It's a holiday showcase. So if you sell products, if you're in retail, I'm actually booking 20 spots of people to showcase their products, kind of like a shopping channel, but more fun. So if you want in on that, I still have open spots available. Reach out to me, get registered. We have the RAP program, the Recovery Activation Program. It's a new initiative designed to help businesses improve their digital capacity. If you want information on that, it's a free program. It's an online workshop series. It helps you build, like I said, it helps you build that digital strategy. We can get you connected to the information. There are sponsorship opportunities available with the Peterborough Chamber of Commerce. If you're looking for kind of a diverse way to be promoted, marketing, advertising, a sponsorship is a great way to get that. You can reach out to me for that. Our COVID-19 portal has all of your information, your resources, your credible resources for COVID information for business, for life. So peterboroughchamber.ca, you can check that out. Our AGM, annual general meeting, is tomorrow. If you haven't registered, please do check it out. We've got an economist coming from BDC. We're pretty excited about it. And Black Friday. Black Friday's coming next week. We're running a Black Friday campaign. It's the cost of an e-flyer, which is $45. If you're a 4 or 5-star member, it's free for you. If you're a not-for-profit member, it's free for you. Otherwise, 3-star members, it's $45, the cost of an e-flyer to get you into the campaign. It's a whole e-blast, a video, all of that good stuff. Reach out to Susan, follow them on social media. If you have any questions, your chamber is here for you. And thank you so much again, Susan. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me, Tiffany. It was a pleasure. Thanks again. Good luck, everybody. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you at the next event.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.